the water, swam through mud. I crossed the Nile to slay that crocodile. Cause I'm big sheep down, that's just my style. Boom!
They're on Mardi Gras morning when many you come. I said, I called my mom and told my flame. I said, these big cheese getting ready, but I won't brag. Mardi Gras Day.
You think you know New Orleans. You dance to her trumpets and breathe in her warmth. But behind the beaded curtain lies her truth. At the heart of New Orleans, where pain and promise reside under one roof, lives the culture bearers known as Black Masking Indians. Upholding hundreds of years of legacy and community, Black maskers are the true soul of Mardi Gras. The players of tambourines and singers of chants that flow straight from the spirit, filling Congo Square with proclamations of freedom, tell the story of perseverance and brotherhood. War cries and dedications paying homage to the ancestors, the chiefs and elders whose hand-beaded suits illustrate their unique stories, their unmovable love and undying energy, the personification of glory.
Oh man, growing up in New Orleans, you love where you're from. Like you love the energy, you love the culture, you love the community. It's, very family oriented. We love to celebrate, people. We love to celebrate things. But then on the other hand, you realize that that's pretty much all we have. Man, my earliest memories is sitting on my grandmother's porch on Orleans Avenue, in the Fifth Ward. Mardi Gras wasn't for us, and so we found a way. Every time I saw the masked Indians, you thought that these people were like celebrities. Costumes were like outrageous, colorful. They meant something. It's a lot of time and attention to detail that has to take place. You realize early on that this is important.
When the first Mardi Gras happened at a plantation home on Esplanade Avenue, we had white society inside of there celebrating their Mardi Gras, right? And out back, they had the slaves celebrating, dancing in circles, singing call and response, doing their thing. And it was so lively that the people came out of the house to go to the back and watching the slaves celebrate. Fast forward, once they started having large parades, and the large parades were going down St. Charles Avenue and Canal Street, and they were celebrating. The only thing that the black person could do at that point in time was carry the flambeaux that would light the streets for the white people in society watching Mardi Gras.
Across the ocean came our ancestors, kings and queens purchased like cattle, stripped of everything they once knew, emboldened to fight for their legacies, escaping enslavement and constructing a new home in the maroon colonies. They found themselves again, Black maskers who used music, movement, and color to honor their forefathers. Beauty bloomed.
In the early 1800s, France was ruling the city at the time, and the French were a little more lenient than other colonizers. So they would allow their slaves to gather in Congo Square, which is here in the city of New Orleans, and they would allow them to go on Sundays and celebrate the Mardi Gras, what have you, in their own little way.
What segregation did was forced us to develop these Black masking traditions. And I gotta tell you, that 6th and 7th Ward, it was like a pressure cooker of culture. It fostered this beautiful Black masking traditions that we have.
When that tambourine hit, And when the chants coming up and down the streets and those feathers moving in the street, that's when you had the glory of Mardi Gras in our communities.
We challenge in our artwork with our beading. We compete to see who's the prettiest. Living in a world where there's so much violence, I think a bunch of masculine men competing to see who's the prettiest is just awesome. We sit down for hours and hours throughout the day sewing on these suits, and we call them suits because that's what they are. You have to hand make these. They're hand stitched with beads, stones. We make everything from the boots to the jackets to the crowns. We put everything together ourselves. And we go out and find other tribes and we compete to see who's done the most work, who's put the most time in.
My uncle brought me around the culture and I haven't stopped since. I remember the first year that I came out, I wore pink and my accent colors were red, white, and blue. Those do not match at all, but that's what he could remember that they had access to, right? They didn't have access to all of these different shades and gold and rose gold. They didn't have those things back then. So as we find new resources, as we find new materials, of course the culture is gonna change over time.
Hello.
Hi, how are
Queen
you?
Tahj, doing good. This is where the magic happens, huh?
This is where it happens.
A lot of colors in here. So what's your process like?
Every suit tells a story. You have to first figure out what story you want to tell, right? And so the story I wanted to tell is kind of like a mini love letter to New Orleans. This culture wasn't televised or photographed a lot because our ancestors didn't believe in that. It was always supposed to be a secret, but naturally, because we're in the technology phase of the world, it's kind of hard to hide, right?
Yeah, sure.
So because we're on different platforms, I feel like it's my duty to represent us the best way possible through my best work as far as the beading, but also telling our story the right way.
Yeah, nah, that's cool. I did it a little bit growing up, but I was so into sports. They always trying to get me to come out there, but I'm just like, you know, like I don't feel like I'm like in it. You know what I mean? So,
you are, because
yeah.
you're from the city. We all
Right.
represent it. And you being from the 7th Ward and a lot of us watching your journey, the fact that you still go out onto Huntersville and do the camp that you do for the young men every summer, I think stuff like that is what they need to see. They need to see people like you in our community still.
You like a big chief in the community?
Yes.
All the stuff you do for the kids around this city?
Yes.
That's big chief stuff,
Yes.
bruh.
For sure.
That ain't no flag boy, no spy boy. That's big chief stuff
Yeah.
what you're doing in this
Appreciate
You
community, bruh.
definitely
You know?
have big chief mentality. I watched the way, even on defense, you pointing at different stuff, you talking to the other guys on defense. That's what it takes.
United and etched into forever, solidifying a history that can never be replaced, only elevated by discipline and dedication. Spy boys who serve as eyes, flag boys waving banners with hues of honor as drums beat for the heavens to hear, big queens acting as backbones, and big chiefs who lead the tribe to deliverance. One community, purpose to rise. Chawa.
My personal connection is my son. He was a spy boy for the Timbuktu Warriors. I'm kind of jealous because I'm like, I should have been a spy boy. I'm so inspired by my son because I know that he's rooted in his culture. Like he's rooted in his community that he grew up in, and it takes a village.
Well, I mean, it feels like I'm the leader. When I'm in front of everybody, it feels like I gotta protect them. I got their back and they got my back.
What's up, baby? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening with me? It's all love, bro. It's all love. I'm just glad that you represent the city the way you represent it. You carry us around the world. New Orleans is the most Afrocentric culture in America, right? And the Black Masking Indians represents that culture. If we didn't have this culture, New Orleans would be like Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
New Orleans would be like Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not downgrading those places by no stretch of imagination.
Right.
But it ain't this.
Right.
Right?
For sure.
It ain't what we have. It ain't that sense of pride you was talking about
Right.
in that community that
Yeah.
we have.
I like the spy boy.
got the British Spy Boy way uptown. I got the Spy Boy, the Spy Boy, he right. Oh! Won't be right, it won't be wrong.
You fly, don't bother me.
We got the
You fly, don't bother me.
All the positions are important. Most important, that's the wild man and the spy boy.
You fly, don't bother me.
My spy boy, he in the front of the game, so everything is on him.
I spy boy with the stoned out shield ain't making no deal.
Then we have flag boy, the wild man. You wild,
You be wild, just wow.
That's the protector of the chief. The queens are, that's our backbone.
The queen assists, supports the chief, and she also protects. You still got to go through the queen to get to the chief.
What's the responsibility of a queen?
When I think of a queen in a tribe, I think of almost like a woman in a household. Her job is to make sure everything runs smoothly, but on the back end, behind the scenes.
Not a chance. The chant, y'all, like, is that passed down? Do y'all have like a tribe songwriter? Like, how do y'all come up with that?
It's about telling the story for Morning Glory again, right? So you talk about things that you do, your experiences in it. Now, they got some traditional songs, Shallow Water, Shoe Fly, Unane, traditional songs, you know. But Queen Tahj made up a couple of songs that she came out with, you know, that just come from the heart. They say if it's in you, it's got to come out of you. And so a lot of times people just get to chanting and talk about their experience of my day, talk about their suits, talk about that man's suit or her suit.
Yeah, once you get past the floor to that back row, it could kind of get like rap battle style. It can get really personal.
No, it can get downright embarrassing.
I can't be sold and I won't be born. We be that game they talk about. Twin, more, hold on. Way across town, LJ 15 walk. I say needle and thread, needle and thread, needle and thread.
Needle and thread, kill him dead.
Needle and thread.
Boom, boom.
You know, if you don't love this, you're not gonna do it. There's nights that you staying up all night. There's nights that you trying to figure out how you can switch this bill to put this money here and put this money there. So you might need a pound of feathers for something.
You'll hear guys say like they'll get their lights turned off, you know, before they not bath that morning because of the feeling that you have on that morning. It's give you something greater. No matter what come, hell or high water, I'm gonna do it. Beg and borrow and make it work. Or rob Peter to pay Paul, and then go catch Paul and get it back.
The spirit moves like feathers, breezing through the air like autumn leaves, following every motion. An extension of bodies and hearts. The spirit, a guide from above, each thread perfectly placed, shepherded by God, keeping each tribe divinely connected, edifying every ancestor who built the foundation for generations to come.
This suit was designed to make sure that we paid homage to one of the great kingdoms of Africa and the great king of a particular land. So it's Sundiata Kente, the Lion King. That's why you see a lot of lions involved in it. One of the things I like putting in all of my suits is crocodile. It's crocodile leather on it with Swarovski crystal, and then we have other crystals all the way around it. That was one of the suits that embodied the greatness of Africa. Each feather has its own little shake. When spirit takes over you, it just kind of rolls with you. And as you'll see when they're in the streets, it just looks so magical. It's the spirit that carries you once you put it on. Think about what your ancestors may have gone through, the trials and tribulations that they may have had, and then you try and just let all that manifest and kind of come out you. This thing is sacred, and it's sacred to all of us.
There's something in your DNA, something in your soul that's saying, I remember this is what I'm supposed to be doing. These are the rhythms I'm supposed to be listening to.
When I'm sitting down sewing at night and these songs are playing in my head and like it's Indian spirit is going around my room, and it's like spirits that jump inside of me and they talk to me, and that keeps my needle pushing.
To me, for any visitor, whether they're coming for the Super Bowl or Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, they come with an ideal that this is the Big Easy. But for those of us that live here, it ain't that easy. You know, you're coming into a place of struggle and sacrifice. So keep that in mind, that like, you're coming and partying on top of a lot of people's misery.
2005, water and wind swept through homes, leaving behind images of war zones. Communities left to fend for themselves, to search and rescue, and still no Humba. 2025, sorrow swept through the streets, innocent lives lost to senseless cruelty, leaving families to heal and rebuild, and still no Humba. Constant test of strength and resilience in the face of despair, succeeded by people who weren't built to surrender.
My wife supported me for all of my years of masking. In 2022, she was involved in a horrific accident. She had severe brain injury and wasn't able to function for a while, but she came through. She actually made a suit, and she came out with me on that second year. But then she started having seizures. And she died in September 2023. I just didn't have it in me to mask that, yeah. So I took off. Giving her the send-off that we did, and when you look at the Indian nation, all the different tribes and people that came out and celebrated her was such a beautiful thing that it let me know that she would want me to carry on. She would want me to celebrate the life and the legacy of this culture, that she may be not able to participate in this, but she's always a part of this. And so she's telling me right now, I can do it, and that's what I'm doing, pushing through to make sure that I hit the street this year.
The sun rises, unaware and unaffected by the darkness of the night. And with each sunrise, voices will continue to chant messages from the belly to paradise, offering life and shouting the story of the Black masking Indians, embracing the opportunity to share ancient traditions brought from Africa, making their home in New Orleans no longer a secret but a commemoration of sacred customs.
I can remember getting a DM on Instagram and it being the NFL, just wanting to set up a meeting to talk about an opportunity that was so secret. The NFL came to New Orleans and they got a chance to experience our culture for themselves through the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund. And from that point, I think they had their mind set on staying true to what New Orleans is.
I mean, the Super Bowl logo is one of the most recognized logos for a statue, and you couldn't have a better place for it to come from than from a queen of a Mardi Gras Indian tribe.
Like I said, not only from the beauty of what she makes, but the beauty of the person she is and how it exemplifies Black women as a whole.
We just all see how much opportunity this brings for our culture bearers, and especially to the Black masking culture, who we feel like, because we've been a secret for so long, we kind of are the forgotten about culture.
Nobody knew nothing about no Mardi Gras Indian, just black masking Indian. And here today, we're at the forefront of the logo on one of the premier events in the United States of America.
In today's day and age, like, it's so easy to forget where you come from. It's so easy to lose those customs and traditions, right? Like that your great-great-grandparents, grew up on. And I'm so thankful for the different people that continue to kind of open his mind to where he's really from and what he really represents.
I was sewing, hustling, working for the Mardi Gras Carnival in New Orleans. I'm outside. Everybody talking about, boy, you're so cold. It's only one Super Sunday, it ain't the Super Bowl.
Playing Super Bowl.
We're in the Super Bowl.
We gonna clown. Clown. Game time. Oh, yeah, it's that day, it's that day.
Mardi Gras walking in the street like I run the town. Don't blow your horn, ain't need to move, drive around.
All of the beautiful lights, all of the fans that have come all around the world. And it was just a great feeling to represent New Orleans and our culture.
Telling understand me, they need to study. We outside. I shoot, shot, and think that's what my chief sing. I'm walking up the street, painted like stain.
When you see all the lights and the stars and the people cheering for you, you got Master P, Terrence Blanchard, and everybody else out there, Harry Connick. It was a beautiful experience, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Man, I'm so grateful to have that opportunity. My heart's still pounding. I only have words right now.
I passed the St. Thomas walking to South Liberty. I told the engine I'm too pretty for you to be ribbing me.
Oh! Boom, boom!
You think you know New Orleans. You dance to her trumpets and breathe in her warmth. But behind the beaded curtain lies her truth, the story of trial and triumph still being written by sons and daughters proudly carrying the torch. A culture uncovered revealing color, movement, and sound, black maskers exemplifying excellence, reclaiming Super Bowl Sunday as Super Sunday, reclaiming land, celebration, and liberation, only unmasking to parade love, displaying the power of faith in your foundation and the significance of homage to every bound root.